All the fences with palings that I have built in the past had a gap of roughly 25 millimeters, or 1 inch in the old money, between each paling. This was done for the following reasons really. If you build a solid fence with no gaps between the palings, the wind hits the fence, tends to go straight up and over it, and can flatten shrubs on the other side. If there are gaps to enable some of the wind to pass through the fence whilst blocking most of it, that actually gives better protection to whatever is on the lee side of the fence. Additionally, it means that when the boards dry out and shrink unevenly, as they do, it isn't obvious, as there is already a significant gap between the boards. Lastly, it also means that the fence is not as susceptible to being broken or blown over in the event of a significant weather event. For reasons that I have explained previously in other videos, this fence needs to have the palings hard against each other. It will become obvious as the video plays that quite a number of the palings have bowed sideways. This means I need to shave a bit off either each end at the side or in the middle at the side, on the other side of the paling, so that the boards don't have a significant gap between them when I put them on the fence. I have also discovered that the palings have not shrunk evenly at the top and the bottom. When I say top and bottom, I mean as they were positioned on the old fence. I'm assuming this is because the elements of wind, sun and rain have had an effect on each of them differently, because the top and the bottom were more or less exposed to the elements. Also, when it rains, the water runs to the bottom of the board. This means some of the boards are ever so slightly wider at the bottom than the top. In order to keep the palings plumb, I needed to shave a bit off one side of some palings near the bottom. If I hadn't, it would not have taken too many boards before the palings would have been significantly out of plumb. that's enough of that. You've seen enough of that. So I'm going to have a cup of tea and then carry on, and we'll see when these boys turn up to cut the concrete up here. Where the green lines are is where they've got to cut. I'd have to say they're not the most organised of people. Anyway, see you in a little while. As you can probably tell from the noise, it's all go on Joel Road today. So for a few days they have been clearing away more of the silt that's been brought out, and there's more over here to go, plus ours hopefully eventually. But today at our place the men have started on putting the conduit in for the new cable run up the western boundary. So they're using the hydrovac machine and a water blaster. So it's not going to be any point in me trying to talk up there, so I'll just walk up and you can see what they're doing. And such are the limitations of cable finder devices that it was marked as coming through here and across up through there, but in actual fact it comes through and goes through under this post here. The extra large hole is not a bad thing, because when they pull the conduit back down through the other way, they do actually need that much distance in order to get it to go down on a not too acute angle. This angle gives you a bit better idea of the angle that it needs to go down on to get down there. Hopefully that will all happen tomorrow. As you can see down here, I did make it a bit further down the fence before lunch, but I've had a few other things on since then, so hopefully before the end of the day I can progress a couple more posts. I have decided that that's it for today, in part because I can't be bothered uncovering all the stack of palings and then having recover it up and all that kind of thing. The last two palings are really bowed, and so I've just put them aside. Hopefully I won't need them. The last one that I put on the fence was also quite bowed, and I tried to resurrect it as best I could. It's not ideal, but it'll be fine. As I said, this is a bit of a messy week. Not in a bad way, it's just I've got a lot of other things going on. Not sure when I'll get back to it, maybe in a couple of days' time. Then I may get some time tomorrow, we'll see what happens. So I think that's it for today, and we'll come back to it another day. See you later. Yesterday was the day for the boring people to come and put the conduit in from up the top to the bottom. The plans did not go entirely as planned, if you like, in that they found that they couldn't turn the corner with the drill underground as they had assumed. So what's happened is we're partway there. The most difficult bit, hopefully, has been done. It is from down near the drive up to just next to my shed, which I will show you in a minute. But they will have to come back again in the weeks ahead at some point and do the rest of it. So currently we have two spools of pipe here, and the other end disappears down into the ground just here, which is not ideal because it should be coming through up over here somewhere. So the plan is that they will come back and they will go from this point here and underground. Well, this part through under here will need to be dug because the boring machine can't go both ways. So it will then bore up to where the hole in the ground is, up there. So I will need to move all of this lot, which is in the plan anyway, obviously to get most of the palings onto the fence all the way down here, and then the rest of them I will stack elsewhere. But it's a bit of a pain, really. It doesn't hold anything up particularly because we can't put the wires in for months anyway, but it just would have been nice to have that tidy. I will also show you what it looks like down below. We have no power today because Unison came to put the new pedestal in down below, which I'll also show you, and they're not sure whether they're turning the power off and on several times to enable that to happen is what triggered it or what, but they now have a failure in the line further up Joel Road. So when I came home at just after 12, there were lots of Unison trucks in Joel Road, and I thought, that's a bit odd. Why are they all down here? And then after I spoke to the men that were working at our end, they explained what was going on. So whereas the power might have been off briefly to do the bit that we needed, it's been off since 9 o'clock this morning, and it's now after 1, and they're hoping to have it back on by 3. We shall see. The fact that, just switching back to this trenchy bit here that needs to be done, is another metre further over than what I really wanted it to be, also means that I need to change the easement, which is unfortunate, but these little hiccups and trials along the way. We will get there eventually. Alright, let's head off down the hill and I'll show you what's happening down there. You will have seen earlier in the video that the boring machine was sitting here ready to bore the hole up, and you can see the two conduits have made their way down to here. Unfortunately, they left an awful lot of water in the hole. Now, I think that's happened because the vacuum machine went away before the boring machine had pulled the cables back through, and so it's ended up a bit of a horrid mess down here. And so the Unison guys dug a whole lot out, well, got a whole lot of the sludgy stuff out from there, but I think all it's done is ended up down in this hole, which is what's happened, unfortunately. So you can see there are pieces of timber in that here, and also that half round up there. What happened yesterday at the end of the day, when they went to back the drilling machine out, they found that it was straddled on this part of the curb and they couldn't get it out. So they went up and got some timber from up the top and eventually managed to get the machine out. So yeah, as I say, they didn't have a great day as far as success is concerned, but it's all steps along the way. Alright, I am going to try and clean that hole out a bit. I will come back another day and dig a little bit out from over here where these pipes are coming down, so that can make its way to the two pedestals, one for telephone, one for power, and then the rest of this can all be filled in. My thought at this point is that there is, as you know, up the top there is a slip on the side of the hill, so I might dig some of that out and put it in the trailer and dump that in there, at least initially, see if we can fill up some of that. That's a tentative plan anyway. All the dirt that was in this pile here went into that hole there, which is known as the bath when they were doing it. So it's fair to say that is not solid ground. It's pretty squishy because of all the water and slurry that was in there. And then I have moved a whole lot of the dirt that was on this edge here under the agapanthus, and also some from up there and some from over this side as well. And so I have partially filled this hole so as to at least make it not dangerous for animals, you know, hedgehogs and things like that. They can crawl out of there now. So that is enough for today. I'm a bit tired of doing this today. I'm going to do something else. And so steps along the way. Good morning. This is actually take two I may include the error at the end, we'll see. It is now Wednesday. As I said, I had a very busy weekend, but not here. And then it was a long weekend, and then Tuesday was wet. Today has been wet so far. As you can see behind me, there is a little bit of blue sky about, but the forecast for the rest of the week is not brilliant with respect to the weather. And the ground is now very wet, and so is everything else. If we look down here, you can see that this is all very wet to be trying to deal with, and also all up here. I have not moved any of the timber down there, as you saw. That needs to be moved before the boring and digger and whatever can come back, but I don't really want them here while the ground is this wet. It will just make a really, I want to say bad, but it's the wrong word. It would just be a huge mess, muddy mess, and so they're not going to be able to come back until it dries out a bit, and I'm not sure when that's going to be. So this will be the end of this video at this point. Not sure how quickly this will progress from here on. I have been thinking more about the shed down here, and that really is going, at some point, is going to have to be dismantled so that we can get down and do the retaining wall behind it. I am starting to head towards the thought that I should probably do that sooner rather than later, because that might actually make it easier to get the digger and the boring machine and things like that where I really want them to be. So still thinking about that a wee bit, but for now, this is goodbye from me, and I will see you, I'm going to say sometime in the future, which I know is obvious, but what I'm really indicating is that I'm not sure when that will be. So thanks for watching. Hope you were entertained. See you next time. Bye.